back, everybody. We are going to do some more perspective, some one-point perspective. So let's go ahead and give ourselves a horizon line. And what we're going to do is just kind of play around with what we know so far in drawing squares and see-through boxes. Okay, so nothing too crazy. Make sure I got this right here. I don't want to have my horizon line off because I would kind of throw everything off. Okay, so that looks good. So I did it kind of in the middle of the page, a little bit above the middle, just to give us some room. We're not going to be drawing anything in particular. I'm going to go ahead and stick the vanishing point on this side over here for no apparent reason. Again, I don't have any set thing that I'm planning on doing. I just kind of want to show how to start applying some things and making some more slightly complex shapes. So let's go ahead and let's give ourselves like a rectangular kind of box here. So I guess I'll start with the front of it facing us. So let me get a parallel line. Sorry, perpendicular line. And I want to make it kind of big because I want to mess with it. Okay, so I give myself two parallel lines there. I'm going to go ahead and continue my square here. Okay, got my square. Let's go ahead and connect it to the vanishing point over here. My three corners that I'm going to see. And once again, I'm not going all the way to the vanishing point because I know I'm going to cap it off at some point. Okay, so it's pretty light. I mean, I'm using my blue pencil. Usually, I'd like to use a lighter blue pencil than this, but it doesn't show up on camera so well. So when I teach, I use a darker blue pencil than I normally would use if I was drawing by hand. And the kind of blue pencil that artists traditionally used, or still use somewhat, if they're not drawing digitally, is a non-photo blue pencil. I don't think I have any handy. I do have some, probably somewhere packed away in a drawer. But what those did, or do, is they don't show up when you Xerox them, okay? So when you use a copy machine. Now, for this kind of thing, we don't really use copy machines too much anymore because we just would print it out from the file or it's drawn digitally, so it doesn't matter. But anyways, a non-photo blue pencil, and it's very light, but it's, you know, good for that. Okay, so I've got my basic rectangle. Let's just like cut into it. So I want to make a hole. So let's make a rectangular hole in here. So in the front here, we're gonna make a rectangle, maybe not quite a table, but let's go ahead and make a hole. So basically what I'm gonna do now is make a box within a box, okay? So now I could measure, let's say I wanna make it even. So basically there's gonna be a box here, and then we're gonna make it go into this shape. So I'm gonna mark it off just so I kind of have it even here. And this is what, you know, rulers are for. So I'll make it, let's say, I'm just gonna go ahead and make it, I'm gonna use my 1-inch mark. I'm gonna make it a 1/2 inch thick for me. Now you're drawing at different sizes as I am. So you just decide whatever works for you. Okay, so I'm just making little marks here. So these are even. And I could do the same thing up here. Just kind of show you how we could mark things and make them nice and even. So there we go. Okay, so I got my 3 marks that I can line these up with, and let's go ahead and line them up, and let's draw it. So I'm drawing like basically a box within a box. Finding my mark, lining it up with the line I already have. Now these lines I can line up with the horizon line up here. Same thing over here. Okay, so I've got like a rectangle within my rectangle. Now, this line is going to go away. And I simply want to make this look, solid, right? So I need to take this all the way to my vanishing point. Over here. Because now I would see the side right there. And there we go. Now we got kind of a more interesting shape or more complex shape going. Now, okay, I wasn't really planning this, but since this corner is past this opening here, I wouldn't see the opening on the other side. Now, that could change. If you made your box very slim, we could definitely change that. Okay, and maybe we should change that just for the sake of, in case you have that as one of your issues. Let's go ahead and make this a little slimmer. So I'm going to change my box. Again, you can change anything you want. And let's say I want somewhere around there-ish. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm just kind of looking where it lines up here, so I know I want to end it and see a little bit more of the opening. So well, let's end it here first. Let's go ahead and say, well, maybe in your composition you want to see the opening. So I'm going to go ahead and pick my edge here where this would go up. Okay. Now, well, I want to get the edge in the back too, but let's try and I'm trying to try and find the easiest way to do that. So here now I have an opening here, and I can see the edge, right? And now I got to fix this because this isn't right anymore. So I probably should have waited to do that back part, but I'm just kind of doing this off the cuff here. Okay, so I want to find out how deep this goes. I just need to find something that lines up with this. Now I can't go straight up because there's some thickness to this, so it won't hit the edge of this corner. This line does not hit the edge of this corner. So I could take it back and do a whole more complicated thing, but I'm trying to keep this simple as we go. So let's try and find the easier way to do it. And I think that's going to be just to do this, to line up this point right here and go straight across, because this is the back. This is the very back corner of this box thing. So if I take this line and go straight across here, I'm not even making a mark. I'm just sliding my pencil across, and then I'm going to make a little mark right there where the back corner is, because the back corner should be even with this corner right there. So now I know where it ends, and I can take that corner and go straight up. Okay, then I can erase all this, because now I definitely made it go too far back. Okay, and I can go straight across from here to the other corner. Now this is a mistake. This is where I see students make a mistake, and they just would connect this kind of arbitrarily. Like wherever they see it, they go, okay, well, I just got to connect it. And that's not what you do. You've got to take it and make this line parallel to the horizon line. So I'm going to go there, mark it there. Okay, and while I've got my ruler there, I might as well just go ahead and get my darker pencil and darken this guy up. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit all these lines first. The lines that are parallel to the horizon line. The less times I have to move my straight edge around, the better. So I've got this line parallel to the edge of the paper, sorry, but perpendicular to the horizon line. So I'll get these ones next. Don't want to forget about this one back here. Okay, and then just go into the vanishing point. All right, there we go. We've got a hole in our box. Okay, so I'm going to keep my light source up top here, shining down. Again, kind of from the front. So just to keep it the same, and I have to think about where my light would hit. Let's say it hits the top a little more. This side would get a lot of light as well, but maybe a little less. So I'm just going to give it a little something. And again, I'm just doing some quick shading here. And let's see, we've got a lot of light going on in here, actually. So it's coming from the top front. So as I'm thinking about it, this would be darker in here because the light wouldn't be hitting it directly. But then you probably would get a little bit of a light hitting this side here, something like that, depending on what angle our light source is at. So I'm going to go ahead and make that my darkest wall that I see. And something like that. And then my front would have probably a little bit of tone as well. So all very light tone because it's all kind of facing my light source. Okay, just a quick little tone there to give it some three-dimensionality. Okay, let's do another one. Let's do another hole going in a box the opposite way. Let's see if I can, let's go ahead and put it over here, just away from our vanishing point. So let's go ahead and make another box up here. Trying to find a good edge to line this up with. Let's see. I'll make this slimmer. Okay, this one's going to be above us, just a floating object above us. There's my square, right? And let's go ahead and add sides or corners. Hope it's not off the camera. If I made that go too high, sorry. I'm not sure if it was. Okay, just a floating box up here. Again, picked an edge. And okay, so let's just make a hole in the box. I think we're just going to see one corner. Now, I can't measure exactly like I could here, right? Because things recede. So I just have to kind of eyeball it. And I'm not really concerned about making it too even. The only thing I could find is the middle, but let's not go there yet. We'll go there another time. So I'm just going to make a shape in here, and I'm going to purposely make it not centered. Okay, and I'm going to make it like a hole. Should I? Nah, yeah, we'll make it a hole. We'll make it a hole. Okay, now this I could measure if I wanted this to be even, because I do have this edge here that could tell me the width of it. So I'll go ahead and make that even, just to give it some kind of sense of, I don't know what, uniformity. So I'm just picking a distance that works for me. You can pick something that works for you. Okay, so there's a hole, or going to be a hole in there. And because of this angle, it's going to be pretty easy just to go ahead and make this look three-dimensional by adding the one corner that we'd see. So you just have to think about what you would see from this angle. And I would only see a corner up there. And that would be the top, right? And then this would be the side. And this corner, if this was a solid box, I would not see anything else in there. And the hole, unless you drew this really thin, you're definitely not going to see the other side. All right, so let's go ahead and get my pencil here. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and turn my page. Don't be afraid to turn your page. Let's make all these lines. Even this one right here. Make it lined up. Back one right there. Okay. And let's do these. Okay, now I just got to connect those corners to the vanishing point. Okay, let's do this one first. And I'll line it up right here. Okay. And next one. Okay, we'll even get the ones inside the little square first. Okay, now the top one. And lastly, the very top of the bigger square. Okay, cool. There is my shape with a hole in it. And let me just think about my lighting for a second here. So obviously I think the underside would be my darkest kind of side here. So I'm going to add some quick little value. And then like if this plane, this is a plane, right? All these sides are planes. If this plane is going to get that much shadow generally, or be that dark, this same plane, or the same, any plane facing that same direction would have about the same value, unless there's another light source interacting with it or something like that. But okay, so then this side also, let's see, okay, this is coming from the top front, so this side should be like that, because it's the same, a plane facing the same direction. So let's just get a touch of value on there. And then this side is pretty light as well. So I'm just going to add not a whole lot. And then this, again, would probably be getting some shadow from this top up there. Something like that. I don't know. Okay, there we go. All right, I want to do another thing here. So instead of making holes, I want to add onto a box, because we have to do that a lot as well when we're making buildings or doing things. So I'm going to go ahead and give myself a square. I'm just going to move it over to this side over here. I say square, yet I mean rectangle. Just flip this triangle over. And go ahead and take these corners now that I got a box. Okay, right there. Okay, and I'm just going to give it a side here to kind of cap it off. Okay, and then go straight across. I can line this up. So the lights I have for my drawing, because I got two lights going, they just make some little weird shadows on the edges right here. And it's hard for me to pick out what's the ruler and what's the shadow for my angle, especially because I'm kind of sitting further back, so the camera can not have my head in the way. But usually I would be a little more on top of my drawing. Okay, so I've got a shape there. Now let's say I want to add like another box attached to it over here. So here's the thing. Whenever you're attaching things, I find it better to attach it at a corner, like not just to draw a box randomly and then see how it attaches. Usually that ends up not aligned with it the proper way. But since I want it to be on the same plane, right, the same surface, like this whole surface here, I'm gonna start with a corner, okay? So let's just make this one even. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with this corner, and I'm gonna make another square, or rectangle. I say square, and I mean rectangle once again, over here. So let's just say I want to extend this line here. I'm just gonna go up here. I'm gonna make it longer because I can see I'm really almost lining up with that vanishing point right there, and I don't want to cause any visual confusion. So I want to make sure I wasn't right in line with it, but I'll make it cap it off there, so it'll be a little long attachment. Okay, so I have a new rectangle that's attaching to this box here. And see, I'm erasing this line. Okay, so again, I started at a corner. Corners and edges are good places to attach it, so I know it is attached. Now I have to attach all the lines that I would see. I would see this one for sure. Let's go ahead and take that back. Now I'm not going to go all the way because I know it won't go that far. Take this corner right here. I would see that. And then right when I hit this edge, the back edge here of this box, I can stop because I know that's where I'm going to go straight across to complete my shape. I feel like I'm going to have my head in the camera tons when I go to edit my video and look at it. Sorry if that's the case. I apologize ahead of time. Okay, straight across there. Okay, now all this part of the box that I drew when I made that first box can just be erased. And I do like to kind of knock back and erase things as I go, because sometimes things get really confusing in perspective when you're doing a lot of lines and you're doing more complicated things. There can be a lot of lines. Okay, so there we go. I've got an attachment here. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and darken it up. Now, if this was a final picture, I would not darken things up till the very end, you know, like till I had everything worked out. But since it is practice, I want to make sure you can see the shapes, which is why I'm doing them, why I'm darkening it up as I go. But normally I would recommend not doing your clean line until like the very, very end. Side note for y'all. Okay, let's go ahead and do my lines that are parallel to the horizon. New one back there. This one here. Okay, and now all I have to do is connect my lines to go into the vanishing point. So you can see here how since my vanishing point is above my shape, this, I won't see this side, right? Because my eyes, the eyes of the viewer looking into this frame are even with this vanishing point, okay? In terms of height and in terms of placement. Meaning if I were to walk straight against this wall here, whatever this is, the viewer would be lined up right here. So you would not be able to see that side or this side of that box either, because we're right in line with it, or in line with it. Hopefully that kind of made sense. I keep trying to, I think it's an important concept to kind of get a handle on. So I keep kind of reiterating that. Hopefully I'm helping you guys see that. If I'm being too redundant and saying the same thing too often, forgive me. I've taught this enough times to know that it takes a while for some people to grasp that concept. So, and it's okay. It just kind of, it's a new thing, but that's why I keep reiterating the same thing. Okay, lighting. So now I finally have a side facing away from my light source, even though it's right here, right? It's really up in the sky, whatever, off the page, somewhere up higher. That's just showing the direction. So this side would be darker for sure. Okay. These top planes would be like that one, just as bright as they can be for now. That's what I did. Then I gave a little tone on this plane that's facing us. So a little something to differentiate it. And one other thing we haven't really focused on yet is like shadows. But this would cause a shadow to be somewhere over here. The light would hit this corner and it would go back something and do something, like this. I know this corner would go, whatever angle the light is hitting it at would cause that corner to be somewhere over here. And then that would attach to this corner there. And then it would go back. I don't know if it'd be straight or not, but it gives us an idea that those shapes are interacting. Okay. There we go. Got some shapes. Okay. Hopefully that helped you work out some things in perspective, get a little more complicated, and we will do some more in the next one. All right. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for joining me.